Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
And I'm Matt.
Matt and I are here today to talk about a huge new ski, huge in its actual size, and I would say also its level of excitement.
Absolutely.
It's an awesome ski.
Yeah, it's a pontoon boat. It's a party boat.
Totally. It actually, I'm glad that you brought up boats because at some point in this, I want to talk about how it looks to me almost more like a whitewater kayak shape than a ski shape.
Totally. And the motto for this coming year is unsinkable by European standards. So another boat reference.
No, yeah. We could do just a ton of boat references here and make a 30-minute long video of just boat analogies, but we'll get a little more technical than that. This is the 2024 Black Crows Nocta. The Nocta's been around for a while. I think this is the third version of the Nocta.
Yep.
Pretty cool. It's always kind of fit squarely in the powder category. So like I've got the Chamonix behind me and the Atris, and then if we had more Black Crow skis here, we'd have the Anima somewhere around here.
Totally.
Then you get into skis like the Nocta, and compared to a ski like the Anima, the Nocta is kind of a pure powder weapon.
Yeah, a little bit more playful, a little bit
Yep.
more suited to not necessarily low angle, but more so for the trees and some
Yeah,
little jibby type
more
stuff.
floaty.
Yeah.
Where that Anima has like some big mountain characteristics built into it.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
that's how I kind of think about the progression of skis from Black Crows. We, at least three of us, you, Bob, and myself, all got a chance to ski that Nocta this past year. I think you logged more time on it than anybody else, which is great
I had it a lot.
because I'm excited to hear about your feedback and your experience on it. I'm still looking forward to skiing it in true deep powder.
Me too.
I
That's the
personally
one
skied it
thing.
in some deep slush. I think you did as well.
Yep.
Definitely enough, in my opinion, to learn all about the ski and for me how it differs from the old ski. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to skiing in some real deep stuff.
Me too. It's got to be a dream. It's got to be just unbelievable.
No, I mean, judging by how it does in really, really soft snow and its characteristics, it's going to be an absolute awesome powder ski.
For sure. For sure.
So here it is. I would say that construction didn't change a ton. The way that Black Crows kind of puts it in their catalog or in their product description, even if you go to their website, because they do have that kind of hunter version of it on their
Powder
website
hunting.
right now. They kind of speak to the changes of this ski as we softened the flex a little bit and put camber back into it as like this way of balancing it compared to the old ski.
Yeah, and that kind of ruffled some feathers. There was such a following, and people were pretty upset that they put camber on it, but I'm a fan.
Okay, good. So Matt, if you wouldn't mind, tell me what else is going on in that ski for construction.
So we have a Paulownia and poplar wood core that is supported with 2 fiberglass laminates. And changing for 2024, there's going to be one last layer of Paulownia and a little bit more poplar. So it's a little bit more dense, but still a tad softer.
Yeah,
and that's just
and
to
it's
support
not
that
like-
camber.
It's not a crazy soft flexing ski.
No.
You were actually, we can talk about it now. You mentioned going into this how the K2 Reckoner 122 has the same dimensions.
Yep.
If we did a flex comparison between this ski and that ski, this is probably twice as stiff.
At least.
Arbitrarily. Like, I don't know what that's based on. Newton meter flex. I don't even know if it would be supported in the numbers, but I think that's a good way to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But overall, pretty straightforward construction in this thing.
Yeah. No, keeping it simple. And,
No frills, no carbon, no metal.
Nope.
No
I do
basalt.
like this little detail, though.
That is easily the most eye-catching thing about the ski, right?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean,
the way that they finished the tips and tails, and I thought it was, for a long time I thought it was metal,
Me too.
but it's more like just base and sidewall material that kind of extends through the end of the ski in both the tip and tail.
Yeah, and I think that it's a nice little nod to their logo, just kind of keeping it.
Yeah,
The
kind of the
aesthetic's nice and
chevron
clean.
style.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned no more reverse camber skis. So this is now camber underfoot, rockered tips and tails. And I would say that for a ski that's 122 underfoot, I am right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just massive. That's like a considerable amount of camber.
For sure. And it translates to energy. It really does.
Yeah. So you were saying that there's some grumblings on the internet about the new shape.
Yeah, people were pretty upset. They like the full banana shape. And this change kind of upset some people. And, I think that it's good to change it up every once in a while, especially in a powder ski. And I think it's for its application and because it's a Chamonix-based brand, it makes sense. If you're taking this out in those mountains, you don't really know what you're going to get.
I think that's a really good point.
And if you get wind-blown, firm snow, I'd rather have some camber than banana.
Right. We actually had a question recently asking us why we test powder skis on firmer conditions. Mm-hmm. And I answered him, and I thought I gave some really good reasons. But that's one that I didn't really think about. If you think about that type of terrain, like you're wearing the Chamonix shirt, you were out there this past winter, you're very familiar with that terrain.
Yep.
And you're going to find really nice snow out there, right?
And really bad snow.
All in the same run.
Yep.
So I think you make an excellent point of why camber can be beneficial in a ski like this.
And if you are someone that's out there in the resort, you're not going to get powder the entire way down to the lift.
Right.
And this would be a lot more fun to carve it up on than something that is just fully rockered.
Yeah.
And I could totally see that with these. So I think it made it way more approachable for people that are going to be in the resort most of their time, and then way more versatile.
I think that's a really good way to think about it too. That old Nocta was tough to justify a lot of the time, especially with a ski like the Anima that had camber and that was still very wide.
Totally.
It felt like more of a specialty ski, and this is probably still a specialty ski, but I think you're right that it is a touch more well-rounded and it's going to give you a better experience overall. So you skied this a bunch of different times. You had it on closing weekend at Stowe, which was
80 degrees.
Literally 80 degrees. So talk me through a little bit of that experience. What was it like in just that super soft snow? That's kind of the closest thing to powder that we got it in.
Yep, and you know what? With that much camber, that thing pivots like crazy.
Really?
You can change direction really, really easily. I mean, I'm a big guy, 6'2", 200 pounds, so I'm okay with a bigger ski.
Yep.
And this felt just fine. I took it in the park a bunch, was doing some spins off jumps. It's not too heavy, it's not too big. That was really fun. But on trail, you could just drag a trench the entire way down, not losing any grip. You're not, busting out of it at all. It felt like I was on a regular 100 millimeter waist ski in most scenarios, which might be controversial to say, but I felt very comfortable. I didn't think that it was too much. And,
everything can be controversial here, Matt.
That's true. That's true.
You're always going to make somebody mad. No,
that's right.
No, I think that's very interesting, and I'm glad that you think that it retained that pivoting performance. I skied it on, probably 2 days before closing weekend in very similar conditions, and I was happy to find that it was still reasonably easy to release the tail edge. I don't think it's quite as surfy, smeary as the old ski, but I never felt, when I was skiing that thing, I felt like I was riding a tank is the wrong reference because a tank wouldn't be as agile, an F-150 Raptor. This crazy off-road vehicle that also has a lot of power.
Totally.
I felt like I was along for the ride on those things. And I just thought that was really cool. And I think that's a cool way to build a powder ski, is make it really pivoty and drifty and floaty, but also give it that strength. And it's not heavy.
No.
No. I've skied the Black Crows Corvus quite a bit, which feels completely different from a stability and vibration damping perspective. That ski takes it to the nth degree, but this is strong enough while I think still remaining pretty agile and quick.
100%.
How was it in the park? You think pretty good?
It was interesting.
That is a ridiculous application for a Black Crows Nocta, but I'm glad you did it, and I want to hear more about it.
We're here to test skis.
Totally.
You know, first hit, did a 3 on the first jump. It's a little bit smaller of a jump. Definitely had to get used to having that much mass on my feet. So the first couple were a little interesting, but then once I learned how they like to be in the air, it was fine. It was super fun. Switch skiing on them was a dream. You know, that much tail rocker, it's pretty easy to do.
Yep.
And you know, obviously didn't hit any rails, but
I don't think rail application is even worth talking about.
No.
If you buy a Black Crows Nocta and slide a lot of rails on it, I will be disappointed in you.
Yeah.
But people can do whatever they want. But I think I'm glad that you took them into the park and kind of tested that side of the ski, because talking to Black Crows athletes, I know that people are going to be using this for backcountry jumps.
For sure.
You're not going to be seeing a ton of people using it in the park, but you know, you got to use the resources that you have, and in that situation we had a terrain park.
Of course.
But we skied with Tucker this past winter on a long day, and we didn't have the Nocta with us on that day. I wish we had, because it was really nice snow.
It looked unreal.
But he was just glowing talking about this ski, and he's the type of skier that's going to go, you know, do a 7 off a natural hit, or go build a backcountry jump for a few days with friends. And it certainly sounded to me like he is going to be using this ski more and more. I've got a good friend, Willie Nelson, out in Alta, another Black Crows athlete. He generally skis the Anima. I would venture a guess that he's going to switch to this.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. And speaking of backcountry, you can put a touring binding on this.
Well, it's sub 4,000 grams as a pair
in
this 185 length. So, yeah, it's somewhat hard to justify, I suppose, but it would be the type of situation where, like, you're going out to build a jump, or like you're going out to hit a certain feature, so the uphill efficiency doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
It's just, I say it's hard to justify because Black Crows makes like a bunch of purpose-built backcountry skis, and they even make like wide backcountry twin tips.
Yep.
So I think if you're like choosing a ski specifically for touring, it would be tough to like overlook all those Freebird skis and come to this, but
Totally.
I don't think you're wrong either. Like I think there is a sort of a fringe application there of touring on it.
Yeah, I mean, what I thought with that was like, if you were doing something like a snowmobile type application where,
yes,
you know, you're going to hunt pillow lines.
Exactly.
Just park your you know, put a shift on there, or Duke PT, get up, just do a couple laps of pillow lines. This would be up there for my first.
Yeah, it's
first
like
pick.
it's a mini golf touring ski.
Exactly.
You know, like, or like whether you're snowmobiling out or skinning out. Like when I lived in Colorado, we used to just like skin out to a spot and spend 6 hours at that spot, just kind of hiking around and like just staying in one little zone, and I think it would be perfect for that.
100%.
So overall, a few weeks ago I asked you to make a list of a bunch of skis that you wanted to review, and I was kind of surprised that you put this ski on your list. So am I correct in saying that you really like it?
Absolutely correct. Yeah, this was, I remember during the ski test, after my first 2 runs on it, I walked past the Black Crows rep with these skis and I said, if these go missing, it was me.
That is a terrible way to steal something.
Horrible way to do it, but I had to be honest, I just loved them that much. Like, the way that they carve just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Insanely stable for no metal in them, and I felt like I could push them as hard as I wanted to.
Yep.
And they were super responsive, super grippy, but still could release whenever you wanted them to. I was just really, really impressed.
So you
really,
think
really
just
impressed.
objectively across the board, they haven't sacrificed any powder performance here compared to the old ski, but they've added more to it.
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, that was kind of my feeling on it. That's basically everything that Black Crows is saying, so I'm glad that you agree.
Love to see it.
Anything else you want to add? Did you feel like we missed anything?
I don't think so. I wish that I lived somewhere where I could justify
Owning it?
owning
Or
them.
like skiing it more regularly?
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? For those 1 or 2 days that we have here a year, I don't mind if I looked like a weirdo for having this in the lift line. I know I'll be having fun.
Yeah,
You know,
that's fine.
You won't see something this wide around here in Stowe, but I would not be ashamed to bust these out.
It's hard to quantify too, because how many days per year is enough to justify that ski? That feels like kind of a subjective thing.
Yeah.
And like also depends on your budget. Like
Totally.
if you've got $100,000 just sitting in your bank account with nothing to do, then yeah, it's pretty easy to justify that ski.
For sure.
And then like, you know, where do you draw the line? Like if you live in Alta, like you literally live at Alta, like how many days do you ski that? 50?
At least.
On a good year.
On a
this
good year,
past
of course.
Year,
Yeah,
50.
this past
so
year.
So like
yeah.
that's the peak. And even that's not every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's an interesting conversation at least of like justifying a purchase like this and how often are you going to use it and stuff like that.
Totally. And my justification for it would be, if I was to buy myself a pair of these would be my powder skis for life. Because I only use them, you know, a limited amount of days a year. They don't get beat to crap all that much if I'm only using them that many times. And then I can just hold on to them for a very long time.
But you know what's tough about that? Someday they're going to make a new one.
Yeah.
And you're going to want that.
Yeah.
So,
We'll cross
anyways,
that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, if you don't think we missed anything, I think that about tells the story. I do want to ski them in really deep snow. I know they're going to be fantastic. I had a blast on them in that spring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the Black Crows guys were like, they were super proactive in giving them to us and having us test them in that snow.
Totally.
So I appreciate their willingness to let us put it through its paces, even though we didn't have like perfect conditions.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the ski test, I was basically like going through all the skis in the Black Crows tent, and I was like, I'll take these, I'll take these. I took a long Mirrors core, and then they handed me those, and I was like, okay. And I'm glad we did, because it seems like you like them a lot.
I'm very happy that you did. Very,
Cool.
very happy.
Sweet. So that's it. That's the new Black Crows Nocta. Let us know if you have any questions. If you have questions for myself or Bob specifically, or Matt, just put that in the comment and we'll make sure that the right person answers it. So let us know if you have any questions, and we will talk to you soon.